Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the bridge of the Here's to Us again. We are going to head from this anchorage here in New Smyrna Beach, and it is a great anchorage. We flipped around from where we started, got up this morning, and I go, wait, that doesn't look right, because the tide's coming in, and that's a good thing. It's coming in from the Ponce de Leon Inlet, which is just maybe 6, 7, 8 miles up the road here, or up the river. And so that kind of swung the boat around, and there's no wind, so the current took over last night. The current was what it was, but the wind was so fierce. It was 15 gusts to 20 at some points there, that the wind was the predominant. But anyway, we're going to head up to St. Augustine today, point out some of the sights along the way, and we're going to take on fuel there, probably pump out, and meet some friends. So let's go.
We're up before the sun. Oh, I actually see the sun. But we've been... Okay, Sam's going to start the engine. Looks good. Okay. Are we ever going to unfurl that flag?
Yes, I think about it each night that we are stopped, and then I say, oh, I'll get it because I have to get a step ladder out to be able to cut the zip ties at the top, and then I forget about it. So we'll get it.
And then later, after we went under a bridge, we saw a free dock. Sail Away happened to be over there, got away from them. Our anchorage is just beyond that bridge where we left.
Well, a comment here about tools that will allow you to go from dock to dock, auto routing, auto guidance, whatever they call it on their particular software. And you need to be cautious about that and study where it's taking you. So there are 2 routes through this area. This is the Sheephead Cut area here at New Smyrna, about mile 846. And we're electing to go on the south one because we've studied it, and we've also looked at the charts very closely and collaborated with some other loopers. So that's something to do. And of course you see there's a lot of anchored boats out here, so you need to be cautious of that, and we are just going very slowly through here so we don't wake anybody, and there's some docks in here as well. We are on a rising tide, which is nice. Getting through here, red still on the left, just double checking myself here early morning because I'm still on 1 coffee. So I see a bunch of reds and greens up here, which is good. And then there's another area on this route going from New Smyrna to St. Augustine, the Ponce de Leon Inlet, where some of the auto routing tools will route you through the inlet, around the inlet, and unfortunately there's a lot of shoaling that's in that area, and I'm told that the Coast Guard is monitoring that daily, and Towboat US must be in good business. So really watch that auto routing, auto guidance, whatever they call it in your particular program. Dock to dock routing is what I call it for one big umbrella, and ensure that you are following the best way for your boat and your conditions and your experience. And if in doubt, get some local knowledge, and there's a lot of ways to get local knowledge. So we'll talk about that at some other point. The span is getting ready to raise, and I called the bridge tender because I said, hey, do you need us to stay outside while you raise the bridge? And he said, no, if you're comfortable going through, go ahead and go through. So the sailboats obviously have to have it raised, and we do not. So we are going to go around these sailboats here with minimum wake. And head on through because we'd end up trying to pass them anyway. And it's high tide, so it's about a 2-foot swing today on the tide because of the full moon, and we're also very close to Ponce de Leon Inlet, and it's just now stopping traffic, so this bridge is going to go up about when we get through there. So Plenty of clearance for the here's to us at 22.5 feet on the tide board.
Plenty of room.
Yeah. So, made it through and continue on our way up to St. Augustine. I don't know exactly what time we're going to arrive. Our speed is back, but we're aiming to get there right at slack tide because the marina that we're docking at has a current that goes through there, and we looked at the winds. The winds are going to be died down to about 8 knots, so shouldn't be a big issue up there, and we're going to be taking on fuel and probably pumping out as well. So anyway, 3 nights of anchoring. We're ready to get on a solid ground.
And as we talked about earlier, here is near the area where you could go 2 different ways, and we're electing to go the safe way rather than running aground, which is not a good thing. So study it carefully and make a wise decision.
It is a beautiful April day here on the Intracoastal Waterway, mile about 836. Just marveling at nature out here and coming up on civilization, Daytona Beach, where last time, our first loop, we stayed at Halifax, which will be to the port side of the boat here at about mile 831. Obviously, we're going to pass that by today, and we are headed to St. Augustine to meet up with some friends, and that's what we're going to do. So remember, we tell you your loop, your way. We did it one way the first time. We're doing it a different way this second time, and whatever works out for you. Daytona Beach, got my master's degree from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, as they call it, the Harvard of the sky. Great university, but I did all my work back at Patrick Air Force Base at a satellite campus, and I decided to come up here to go to the graduation. And I'd never been on campus before, and I had my gown with me and all that stuff that you have, and I'm looking for what's called the Ocean Center. And I asked a person walking around, where's the Ocean Center? And they said, oh, it's right over there. Are you new to Embry-Riddle? And I said, no, I'm graduating today. And they just had this puzzled look on their face because it was the first time I was on campus. So I always share that story because I think it's a little humorous. Back in there, off to the port, and then turn to starboard is the Halifax. Down there. So we're coming up on a series of bridges here. Only one that is questionable. However, I just looked it up, and I remembered from last time there was additional at the center. It's the Main Street Bridge. Last time we went through, there was an issue with one of the spans. And I think we had it opened at that time for whatever reason. I don't know. Or we went through when it was open. I'd have to look at the video.
Yeah, so we're coming up on the entrance to the Halifax. Right there where that blue sign is. It's a pretty big marina.
It is a big marina, yeah.
And we had a nice time
Yeah,
there.
you can see all the sailboat masts back in there as far as it goes back. There's a couple sections to it, so. And you're right downtown Daytona Beach there. You can walk, and a couple bars and restaurants down there that you might want to check out. It's about mile 831 as you go through these series of bridges here, so we'll slow it down as we go through this area. Right now doing about 10 miles an hour. Not a lot of traffic. It is a weekday.
prettiest bridge ever. Manatee and dolphins. Artwork. Coming up on the Main Street Bridge. And over on the side, you can see the top of 17, but of course it's dirty, so it looks like 17, you know, it's above 17. There's 4 feet extra in the middle, so we are aiming for the center because it should be about 22 feet. And that's plenty of room for us to sneak under. Sam's taking it nice and slow.
Yeah, if we're going to rip anything off, we're going to rip it off slowly.
Well, that's just good advice. See the board over there? How it says 17, the bottom is 17. But yeah, the bridge tender said it is at 18 feet. These antennas are our highest point. So I'll keep an eye on that going through here. Looks like plenty of room, Sam. Yep, you did it.
So, one of those where, okay, you have to really read these bridges, what they say in the notes, and then if there's a question, talk to the bridge tender. You'll get to know your boat height and what looks too low and what isn't. But this is a case where the tide board there said 17 and a half, and then usually that is to below steel, which in this case it was, and then he said add 4, but in some other note it said add 3. In any case, we had enough. So you just go through slowly, and if you have a question about it at all, hold off and get a bridge opening. If it's that close that you know, you're worried about it, you're not going to get fined for a unnecessary bridge opening. But again, you should know the height of your everything on your boat. Just passing through, motor vessel here's to us on your stern.
Hello, Sam.
Hey, can you go to channel 69?
Just passing through on 69.
Alright, mind if I slide by you on the tube?
No problem.
Alright, very good. Sounds like you guys are having fun.
Yeah, we'll slide over here and slow down and let you on by.
Alright, now monitor 69 at 16. Alright, so fellow YouTubers, we'll pass him. He's doing about 6, not burning a whole lot of fuel, he says. I'm not exactly sure what kind of boat they have there. So we'll do a little bit of overtake here at about 9 miles an hour. Maybe about a 3-knot overtake on them. And we'll probably slow down a little bit when we get a beam up here and wave to them. So just passing through.
So we ran into a little bit of rain back there. No big deal. Had the wipers going. Now we are passing a boat called Miss Eva. They're from Longboat Key, Florida. That is such a nice boat. Oh, they're gold loopers. Well, that was a nice surprise.
Well, it's been a long day. We got about 10 miles to our destination where we will dock, take on fuel, and then celebrate the end of another 67 miles. We're coming up on the Crescent Beach Bridge, which is a drawbridge for sailboats. They'll have to have it open for sure. or bigger boats, but the Here's to Us will fit under it. It's 25 feet at high water. Right now it's we're near low water. In fact, that's kind of what we've been timing, is low water, and as the water will come back in, we'll be on slack tide, so that'll be nice for docking, we hope. Winds for docking maybe out of the southeast at 7, and we're going to plan on sterning in there, taking on fuel. So we're thinking about all that stuff as we're going along. And bridge up here, we can see the board. Let's see what the board says. Fender board, or tide boards as I call them.
Hey, you can't see 23 just because there's mud on it.
23, yeah, so 23, plenty of room.
23 and 25 you can kind of make out the bottom.
23, yeah, 25, yeah, so that's at high water. It looks like really at low water right now. There's plenty of room, and there is that additional room at the center on this one as well. So plenty of room for the Here's to Us. There's a little bit of a current here. I remember this from last time we went through. It's kind of a little Venturi effect, and so watch that on the current. Steer through it. It'll be good. All right, so we're going under this bridge here, and we will be making a turn to port, going up the San Sebastian River. Got about maybe 15 minutes till we're going to maneuver in for docking. And we'll be going into a slip this time versus a T-head due to needing space to get the fuel truck there. They don't normally have fuel there, but they're going to get us some fuel truck. So we'll get tied up, stern in with the port tie. Rev is ready for that. We're at slack tide, maybe just beginning of flood tide, so it's not too hellacious going in there. And winds are out of the south at 3, so we're just going to take it slow as we go. And so now we're going upriver, so we're at right returning. So got to think about that. Well, we are here, and I had fully intended to video the stern in docking. However, in the heat of the battle, I forgot to turn the camera on up here. So I'm going to kind of give you the play of how it went. Now remember, this is low tide, okay? And so it's kind of slack tide because it's starting to flood in here, so I'm starting to get that. I had winds coming from that way. And so I'm coming in through this very narrow opening here, bow in, and if it were not for that empty slip there, I'm not sure I could have done it, because I didn't have much room to pivot around. And the wind is blowing me. So the thrusters were working, and as I was backing up, I was getting depth alarms. So I was concerned about that. I still had room under the prop, but I looked over and this way, and what do I see is, actually I saw more of it because it's even coming in since we've docked. I saw mud over there. So now it's a matter of backing in, and this sailboat is here. I think 15.4 is our beam. It might be 16.4 out there where we are. So at some point, what I did was, with all the depth alarms, the dock hands were able to get a hold of the stern, and I told them I'm not going to put the props on anymore. I was just concerned about it. I have 2 depth sounders. They were giving me different readings, and that's probably because we were kicking up a little mud, and who knows if there were fish down there. So they got a hold of it. We had dock hand out there, and 2 other boaters came in and pulled us into the slip. So we are here, and we are happy we are here, because we just finished 3 days of anchoring, which I think is the longest we've gone on with out touching land. 3 days of anchoring. So anyway, Hurricane Patty's is right up the hill, and we are going to partake of that. Fuel truck, as I mentioned, couldn't get here today. but it'll be here first thing in the morning. So we'll take on fuel in the morning, and we're going to meet up with some friends. So we'll see you next time on What Yacht to Do, a very challenging day on the Intracoastal Waterway and docking.
Got to visit with my good friend Kevin and his wife Iris. Kevin and I go back to T-37 instructors, flew in the same B-52 squadron, and later we were in the same U-2 squadron. So shout out to Kevin and Iris.
And then we had a chance to visit my friend from high school, Elaine, and her husband, Scott. They live in San Mateo and have a honey stand.
Talk to us about this raw honey honor system. There it is.
So the
Put
honor
money
system-
in the box.
In the box, the red box.
All right.
Yep. And it is going nowhere. This thing is there to stay forever.
I was gonna say, how?
I
Wow.
guess they were telling us that when, it used to be a jar, like
Yes,
right? When
right.
they had this made, they put like rebar at 8 feet in the ground and had it spread out, and then did the concrete block on top, and then welded.
Wow.
It's gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think
But
so.
when we purchased this was falling down, and Scott had to rebuild the whole structure. Somebody hit it with a car,
Ah,
and it just about took the building out. It was just
oh
about
my.
down. And so he rebuilt it, and we still need to paint it, but everybody kind of likes that shabby
Yeah.
look, that country shabby look or whatever.
Right.
So anyway, we will eventually paint it. It needs a paint job. We purchased it from the Biggers family, which they're the ones that started this. We've always told everybody that if you're short on money, don't worry about it. Take what you need. The next time you drive by, put the money in. And we get notes all the time. I was $2 short,
Oh.
and then the next week we'll get another note saying, here's my $2 from last week or whatever.
Go get honey, right?
Yeah, go.
I'll make her get it. That's the guy I am.
Okay, we're gonna see some action here.
Oh, it's good and ready to pump, that's for sure.
Ooh, I see a bee suit.
You'll be able to watch it push all the way up.
Right there.
So this is going into that, and then how long is it in there? Are we gonna get
Well,
honey
we-
right away?
You can get honey, but we like to let it sit about 4 or 5 days.
I am getting our own honey here.
All right,
So
honey.
exciting. Okay, any words of wisdom?
Under here would help.
Is it gonna be hot or not?
No.
Yeah, you're gonna burn your hand.
Oh, look at that. Now this is orange
Oh.
blossom.
Right.
Now tell us why it's called orange blossom.
Because the hives were sitting in the field when the orange trees or citrus trees were blossoming, and that's where they got all the pollen from. So they went back and put it in their hive, and then the hive was harvested.
I love that.
Go ahead and turn it.
Okay.
Yeah, turn it down. There you go. Because it'll continue to drip for a few seconds.
Okay.
That's a professional job right there.
Wow.
Hired.
Oh, I got a job at the honey stand.
Yeah.
And here's your little
Elaine,
sticker. You
This
put it on
is
there.
awesome. that
Look
out.
at that.
If you were ever traveling down Highway 100, slow down when you get to San Mateo and stop at the honey stand. It's on the honor system. So tip more, give more than it says for your honey.
Since
An honor
1947.
system. Since
1947.
1947.
Wow.
The oldest honor system in the state of Florida.
Wow.